formal. This is casual conversation.
Definitely casual.
No, casual.
We just having a conversation
Yeah.
with Mikaela.
We did. We like got into it on the phone.
We did.
We were like, okay, what are we going to talk about tonight? How's this going to go? And because we want you guys to be here, and we wanted you to see the kind of the stories that are going to be shared and some of the value out of this. So I just want to say thanks. They need no introduction, basically, right? Co-founders of the Wave Innovation Center. So you guys have done some pretty incredible things in your lives prior to Wave. So we're going to talk a little bit first about the journey, because I want to start there, because you might not have ended up thinking that you were going to have this and be doing what you're doing.
Not at all. To Tom's point, we don't know what we're doing. We're just full of
We're
vision.
winging it.
Full of vision, full of passion for this city and for this community. Just really want to start this off with just saying how I love this man. He is my old friend now. Well, long time friend. But he...
Don't age him that much.
That's right.
Right?
See, I'm keeping my mouth quiet. Thank you, Mikaela.
He's 50 and he looks 40. That ain't
Oh
great.
my goodness. Don't listen to this man. He's inching 40. He's inching 40. He's like next day to be 40.
I am. Let me just start off saying this.
That's messed up.
If you want your dream sponsored, love people. I'm gonna say that one more time. If you want your dream to be sponsored by people, love people. And I think, you know, as I was leaving the NBA years ago now,
Years ago.
I met this man 10 years ago, and just ambitious and passionate about changing the world, and I expressed that vision with him. He had the same ambition, the same heart, and that's what knitted us together. So, going on 11 years later, we're doing things that we never thought we would be able to do.
Well, Danny, where did it start? So you guys meet.
Yes. So we met a long, long time ago.
A long time
He's my
ago.
old friend.
But it didn't look like this. Oh, your old friend, he didn't look like this when it started.
Absolutely did not look like this. Let me also say, I love this man. And it is okay to say that. I mean, I think a lot of times we do not embrace that, right? We don't embrace friendship like that. We don't embrace authenticity like that. And we're afraid, especially people of color, are afraid of just being emotional with it. And a lot of times we just got to put that on our sleeve and say, listen, I love you, and I can't do life without you. And I'm saying that in front of all these people, you know what I mean? He's my yin to the yang, that's what our wives say, you know what I mean? But yeah, before this, he was in the NBA. I was pastoring at the time, my degree's in theology. My journey starts a long time ago in the South Bronx. His journey starts in the west side of Columbus. And so two inner city kids just dreaming to serve people into their intentional designs. Serving people to become what they're best at, you know what I mean? And so when we met together, we actually had a mutual friend. I was working at the city at the time for Mayor Coleman. Shout out to Mayor Coleman, wherever he's at right now, shout out to him. Woo woo! He's did a lot for our city. And so I was working for him, he was working in the NBA, and we had mutual friends that kept on telling us, you guys need to meet. You guys are like, man, when I talk to you, I talk to him, and I talk to him, I talk to you. And it was my beautiful wife that's over there for 20 years. Debbie, raise your hand so everybody can see who you are. She started it all because I was leaving work downtown in the city, 7 o'clock at night. I was tired, and she said, you need to go, you know, you committed to meet with Mike tonight. I'm like, I'm just tired. And she's like, no, you need to go. And as every man knows, when your wife says you need to do it, you know what I'm saying? You do it, right? And so I went straight over there, and we had about a 3.5, 4-hour conversation, and the room got silent. There was more people than this here, and we just locked in. And from that moment on, the next day he calls me up at 7 o'clock in the morning to pray, and we prayed for a whole year. No matter where he went, he would play for Toronto, he would call me up that morning, and we prayed. And that just started a friendship. I knew the moment when we talked that he was the missing link that I never knew I needed. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we got to capture those moments in life where you meet somebody and you're like, wow, I did not know that I was missing so much in my life. And that's what happened.
Then, as you two came together, how did this come about then? So you're praying, you're playing, you're praying, and then your career ends.
Yeah.
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 And you're thinking, what am I going to do next?
I had thought about that before I retired from basketball. Who retires at 32 years old? I mean,
Michael Redd does.
NBA
Michael Redd
players,
does.
yeah.
Right? It's weird. We are all a byproduct of collaboration, if you know what I mean. We're all here because of our mom and dads, right? So when things need to be birthed and produced in the world, it only can happen through collaboration.
Yeah.
So I understood that the moment we did meet, I knew we were destined to do incredible things in our lives, and it's been an incredible journey. But before I actually retired from basketball, I began to think about some of the things I wanted to get involved in. And tech was one of the things that I just wanted to get involved with. I didn't understand all of it because I had to worry about Kobe and Dwayne Wade and LeBron. So our focus was there, but I also began to understand that this won't last forever. So we began to pivot, and obviously ministry was the hallmark of what we were doing. We were helping young people all around the city, around the country. But we decided to kind of dive into the whole venture world, and so I'll go from there. Yeah.
So I think with the venture world, it's so interesting because you made that comment, if you want sponsored, if you want your idea sponsored, love people.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about at the foundation of the work that's being done, and I don't care if it's in the venture world, I don't care what you're doing, you have to have heart at the foundation of that business. And you guys are living this in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So tell me about having heart, because I don't know sometimes if we see heart as much as we should, right?
You're right.
We definitely don't see people walking it out. You know what I mean? In the sense where we live in such a shallow world. Anybody can say amen to that, right? There's so much shallowness happening, and there's no authenticity. A lot of times, everyone wants to be seen, and no one wants to be unseen. And it takes to be unseen to build a foundation. And a lot of times we walk into this building, we see how beautiful Mixed Design made it look, you know what I mean? We say shout out to Mixed Design, woo, 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 woo. You know what I mean? But it took a lot to dig into this ground to put this foundation. And a lot of times when you dealing with foundation, Mikaela, when you're dealing with the things that are unseen, everybody walked on this foundation today, you get walked on, you get talked about, the whole 9 yards, but you gotta be willing to say, you know what? I'm willing to be seen for a little bit and process myself so that I can build the proper foundation so that when we erect the building and the beauty of that building that everybody sees, there's sturdiness, there's something that no matter what storm of life comes, it will never knock it down. And so the unseen place is what we talk about a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just to add to what Danny is saying, the heartbeat of WIC is to not only help scale a business or scale a product, but scale hearts.
Yeah.
The healthier the person is, the healthier the business is. And we wholeheartedly believe in that. And so we do a lot of heart reading in here more than anything, me and Danny. Obviously, we have companies that we've incubated in here and we've helped grow, and it was phenomenal to see growth and see that happen. But more importantly, we're making sure that our CEOs and our team are healthy. And that's the hallmark of what we're doing here.
And I want to say this, I just want to jump on that. Healthy means spirit, soul, and body.
Spirit, soul, body.
Yeah, because I think sometimes when we don't, listen, whether we think we need to be in the spirit realm or not, when we think we need to open ourselves, you're made of spirit, soul, and body. And every one of those areas in your life have to be healthy. You know what I mean? And sometimes we get somebody that's, man, they all about the food, getting their body right, but their insides are just, you know what I mean? Their character, stuff that people don't want to talk about today, character, right? Having integrity, right? Knowing that when you're away from here, you're going to make the right decisions, right? Because in business, you are every choice that you make, right? And a lot of times, people want to get the big idea, they want to get the millions of dollars, but no one wants to, listen, it takes a foundation to be able to handle that $1 million once you get it. You know what I mean? Everybody wants it, but no one wants to prepare their ground for it.
Well, right, because you're talking about a foundation, you're talking about being in the dirt a little bit to be able to grow out of that. And there's a process of becoming. I've heard you guys talk about this. And sometimes it's not always comfortable or easy to be in that process, Mike.
No, it's not. We have a lot of hard conversations in here. In fact, we had a young man at one point who was in his car. He had just left the building. And we looked out the window, and he's crying in his car. And we're saying, hey, get back in here, man. Let's talk about your life. And so we want to make sure that the foundation of your life is settled before you venture off into something that's too big for you, that can ultimately crush you, crush your marriage, crush your kids, crush relationships. So there's a lot of dreams and aspirations to do big things, but if you don't have your foundation settled and healthy, the big thing will wind up crushing you later on in life.
And have you seen that playing out? I mean, I think stories are important. You know, that's what I do. So what are some things that you can share with us where you've seen it be really hard for people?
I think that the number one thing is getting unmasked, right? Knowing who you are, right? Identity. I think one of the things that everyone comes in here and they look at Mike and I like, oh, we want you to give money to our company, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, why are you walking with that mask on? Like Mike and I were talking about earlier today, both of us growing up in the inner city, even the inner city itself mask you, right? Because they tell you you have to have this mask to behave this certain way. And a lot of times people don't know how to be themselves, right? They don't know who they are, right? And so not knowing who they are, that everything they do it playing a game, masquerading themselves, right? Today I'm going to be the venture guy. Tomorrow I'm going to be the boyfriend. You know, and we have all these masks that we wear, and we don't know who we really are. And a lot of times when they come in here, you know, they put it on their best hat, right? They put it on, oh, I'm going to put on my suit, I'm going to put on, but we see through all that. And we wanted to make sure that, listen, do you know yourself? Because if you don't know who you are, this is the flat out truth. If you don't know who you are, you're going to lead other people to a falsehood because you live in a mirage. You know, you live in a falsehood. You know what I mean? And a lot of times people come in and they come in with the swag and they come in with all this, but when you look at it, they don't even have a company. They don't. Why? Because they're just trying to be affirmed by other people. They want everybody to like them, like me. Even in this room right now, I guarantee you, some of these folks that come, a lot of us come into these folks like this, into these events. I mean, you can say, you just nod your head with it. You come to these events with so much weight on your shoulders, so much pressure of life, right? And someone needs a safe place to say, can I have a safe place of love where I can just be me, where I don't have to have a mask, where I don't have to like show my best foot forward, that I can just say, you know what, I'm having a sucky day and everything in my life sucks right now. Those are the real things that we want to deal with people.
To add to what he's saying, which is so powerful, insecurity is the breeding ground of comparison. Insecurity is the breeding ground for comparison. When you don't know who you are, there's insecurity within inside of you. And when you're insecure about who you are, you'll be able to glean and steal and mimic what you're seeing on social media, all because you don't know who you are. So comparison is a huge issue in our culture. Sorry.
No, I was going to build on that. Created confidence. I was hearing about that recently because social media is a breeder. It looks confident, but it is created confidence.
Come on, man.
So they walk in the door here, and you guys are taking a look at heart, foundation, and that infrastructure, so to speak.
Absolutely. We have people that have come in here who are not entrepreneurs, and we share that, and tears roll down their faces, or they get angry because the reality is that you're not really an entrepreneur. You may have the spirit of an entrepreneur, but you're not an entrepreneur. And so, but you need people in your life, mentors, and a community of people who can help you become more self-aware. Most of us are not self-aware people.
That's right.
If you look at American Idol, those people that sing on there, they feel like they're self-aware. And it's like,
that sounds good.
You can't sing at all. We love you, but you can't sing at all. So most people in society, in our culture, are unaware. And so a lot of our culture is built off dishonor. Let me say this. The key to a successful life, or the algorithm to success, is through honor.
Talk to me more about that. So I get, so honor
Sure.
is in everything that we do, and if
Absolutely.
it's in everything we do, we will be successful.
Absolutely. To honor people, that will be reciprocated back to you at some point in your life. And so when you live a life of honor, you will receive honor. We deal with our CEOs a lot about loving people, honoring people, preferring people. That's why our partnership has been so beautiful, because
Absolutely.
we honor each other. And if you have that as a foundation of your relationship, no matter what you disagree on, your backbone will always be intact because we honor each other.
So sometimes as entrepreneurs or people in business, we're living with honor, let's say, but we come across individuals when it's time to collaborate that aren't living the same way we are. And we can get hurt. We can learn lessons real quick. How do we handle that? You know, I mean, I'd love to see you guys touch every entrepreneur that I've ever talked to, but how do we live with that if we haven't been introduced to the wave? And like, how do we move forward from those moments? Because those can be hard on the spirit. And you know, Tom was talking about resiliency and persistence. And it's hard to have that when you're dealing with folks that might not be at the same place you are with honor.
People are in your life for a reason.
That's what I was gonna say.
A
People.
season or a lifetime, or sometimes treason. So I've often discovered, and we've discovered as an organization, that betrayal is usually an announcement that something good's coming.
Betrayal is an announcement that something good is coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's it.
We experienced betrayal. We can all testify on those who were part of the wave this year. And immediately things begin to happen. Doors begin to open. And it was something that we had to encourage our group with, that when betrayal comes into your organization, it's an announcement that the future is here.
So keep your honor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Keep it.
Yeah.
And don't be downtrodden or discouraged.
No,
Betrayal.
not at all.
And add people in. I mean, because discouragement, what it can do, and betrayal, it can give you a heart of bitterness. Right? And so when you're bitter, you just drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die. You know what I mean?
So release it.
So you have to release it, and you have to add other people, and you have to trust again, right? Trust is a big word, right? How do I trust that person because they betrayed me? Well, maybe you were not meant to be with that person. But get other people, maybe move that person out the way a little bit, and get other people in your life. You are connected to someone else. Bottom line, you can't do nothing. There's no rogue, long ranger attitude. If you have that attitude, the way you rise, you're going to sink right away. You know what I mean? And so you need somebody to pick you up. Listen, in our relationship, there's times that we call each other, and you got to be able to say, hey, no to this, yes to this, or get up, let's do this. You know what I mean? Because you get the hurts, you get the pains, but you need somebody in your life to get you up when you can't put your own clothes on. How many know what I'm talking about? When you can't put your own clothes on, right? When you don't feel like putting your own shoes on. You need friends to love you in your mess. Love you not being your best. Love you messed up. And listen, and this is cool because you can love somebody that loves you. But can you love somebody when they don't want to be loved at that moment? Because you still show them love. Man, they rejected my love, but I know they need my love. And I'm going to cover them with my love, right? And I'm gonna still call you. I'm going to still text you. And I know you're going through depression. And I know you're going through anxiety. And I know all the world's caving in on you. But I'm in your life to get you out of that. And I'm not going to let you go. And so you need people that will pull you out of something.
How do we find collaborations like that? Because ultimately you're talking about trust, and you're talking about collaboration when one person is giving 80%, the other person may be at 20%. So what does healthy collaboration look like? It needs to include honor, it needs to include love, but what else would you say that it needs to include?
Vulnerability, transparency. That's been the foundation of our relationship. Being able to be honest about everything that we see or we discover. We don't agree on everything. And with your business partners, you may not see eye to eye on everything. And I think your relationship is not built off of agreement. If that was the case, it wouldn't be real. So we do disagree sometimes. We do have hard conversations, but at the end of the day, we love each other and we do life together. That's critical because everything that I'm involved with from a business standpoint, Danny's a part of.
That's right.
Danny's in my will. Him and his wife are in my will. So that's how hard we go. And we don't hide anything from each other at all.
Live open. Be real. Be honest. Motives, impure motives are huge.
Yes.
You
And
know
do
what
not
I'm
come from a place of honor.
It does not. And I think a lot of times not being afraid to sift out the impure motives, you got to hit those head on. All right? It's real conversations. And you got to be able to hear, man, you acting like a jerk right now.
That's what I want to know.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
how do these conversations work with you two that way? Because I think we all have dealt with it in partnerships that we've had in work situations. So you guys will go. You will go.
We will go.
And then you'll be okay. So what does that be?
But it's
like,
all
let's real
done
talk
from a
about
place
this.
of love, right? It's all
Yeah.
done. I know his heart, and he knows my heart. So because I know the intentions of the heart, where it's coming from, pride doesn't rise up, right? So you can get pride with, how many know in teamwork, pride is the thing that has to die. Right. You know what I mean? If you're a prideful person and you think that you got it all and you got it all that, then you're going to have it all by yourself in a corner. And you're going to talk to yourself in the mirror because no one wants to be around you. So I think eradicating pride, thinking if you come from a place of humility and a place of real love and real honor, you can get into deep, real conversations, but you're not you're not letting it affect you because you know where it comes from. And I think that's the biggest thing.
There's two ways I measure character in a relationship and people in general. The measure of a man's character is how he treats people who he thinks he doesn't need. And also another way to measure someone's character is
The janitor. I mean, ultimately,
that's exactly right.
That's the analogy. How do you
Or the
treat the janitor
waitress.
and how do you treat the CEO?
Or the waitress and the waiter. Can you leave a big tip even if they're angry at you, even if they do it?
And my wife gave me no, you're fine. You get first floor. My wife gave me an incredible quote by Abraham Lincoln yesterday, and I have to mention it. Another way to measure someone's character is not by how they respond to an adversity, but how they respond when they have power. So we've been able to delegate responsibility and power over to individuals over the years, and we've seen how they respond to it. And there's a greed attached to power, right? And so I do believe that you can have incredible business partners, incredible business opportunities, but it can be done the right way. I've spent a lot of time in Silicon Valley and Silicon Beach and Wall Street, and I've seen people who just don't care about people. And we want to change that narrative. Not only do we want to make money, obviously, but more importantly, we want to see you grow as an individual and as a person. So I know I kind of deviated off a little bit. But
no, you're right, Mike. I think as you mentioned, as we go to California, one of the things that we learned about California is that when you talk to somebody, I mean, how many hate this? When you talk to somebody and you talk, we try to focus this like, I'm talking to you, this is California. They're looking somewhere else. How many experience that? How many hate that? Right? Let's be the change we want to see, then don't do it yourself. Right? All right? I mean, somebody's talking to you, be aware of that conversation. Right? Be present in that conversation. Really care. Like someone knows if you care what you're saying or not.
Don't be looking for the next person coming into the room.
You see what I'm saying? You be like this, like, oh, who else is coming? Like here in a room like this tonight is a great test because there's so many people, you have so many friends. Can you be aware and just finish that conversation out? Like, you have to be intentional at that. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to get distracted with this other person. You have to say, no, you know what? I want to hear you out. Because I really do care. And if you don't care, you're going to wear it on your sleeves.
So let me ask you this, to be more present, because we know we struggle with that in life, in this culture, presence, just because of the pace that everything moves. How do we practice being more present? Is there a way to do it?
I think practicing empathy.
Right. Yeah.
Empathy is critical, beginning to put yourself in someone else's shoes. What the world is lacking, not just the United States, but the world is just people who care. And the potential to do that is in all of us. It's not like it's an algorithm that's not just way out there in the stars and the moon. It's all within us. And we have that ability to do that. So I think really taking the time to really care and have empathy for people. And so that's part of what we're doing as well in this culture is saying, listen, we care about you, the person, which has been so impactful.
And practicing that daily. To add what Mike's saying, practice that daily. One thing that we talk about in the Wave is your own time of meditation, your own time of self-discovery, your own time of being aware with yourself, right? I think that's a practice attitude, right? When you get up in the morning, whatever time is best for you, take time for yourself in this crazy world. You know what I mean? Like my wife, I want her to know she loves me, like that I love her, not because I tell her, but because when I wake up in the morning, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm looking at her eyes.
Oh, that got real romantic right there.
You know what I'm saying, baby?
I love it.
Because it's easy to go and just get on your phone and get on social media and start your day, bang, 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 bang.
Isn't it?
If you start that way, you're going to finish that way. And to me, the way you start your morning every day is so critical to your life. It really is. And him and I always talk to, I mean, we challenge every person that leaves our presence. It's like, take time out for yourself.
It's illegal to advise anybody on anything if you haven't conquered it in your own life. I'm going to say that again. I didn't stutter. It's illegal to give advice or counsel to someone if you haven't conquered it in your own life.
Oh, and that's hard too, because some of us want to help people and say, hey, but if you haven't conquered it, right, you're not at a place to be given the counsel.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Just be quiet and
Embrace the silence.
This is the thing about it.
Wait, I'm just supposed to be quiet,
Just
right?
be quiet in that moment.
To avoid mistakes, right? We won't be perfect in life, but to avoid hang-ups. This is one of the prayers I have in my own personal life. And I've shared it with our team, with our group. 4 questions I have to ask every week. Not every day necessarily, but every week. My prayer is, God, who are you? Who are you, God? Who are you? I don't want a secondary commentary on who you are. I want to know who you are myself. Number two, who am I? Who am I for real?
Yeah.
You know, and begin to ask yourself and question yourself in that regard. Number three, what is my purpose? Why do I exist? What impact am I to have on the world? What mark should I leave on the world? And number four, which is the hardest question, who am I to do it with?
Yeah.
So there has to be a level of intentionality, to your point, because there's so many people that we encounter, I don't mean to be long-winded, that don't have vision. And so when you're absent of vision, you're going to be an opportunist,
Yeah.
and a nomad.
Yeah.
So vision dictates your decision making, if that makes sense. It should govern your decision making. So if you're absent of vision for your life, you're going to just be roaming around looking for opportunities. Vision gives you the ability to be intentional about decisions that you make in life. Who you marry, what business partner to work with, what opportunity to invest into, what should I start. I had an issue with comparison the other day in the gym, Mikaela. I'm not afraid to confess this. I'm in the gym working hard, but I see a bunch of 25-year-olds, 20-year-olds doing flips and just jumping up and down.
What did you say, pushing 40? What did you say
He's
earlier?
pushing 40, man. He's right around the corner. 39.
I'm on the treadmill, and I started to pick it up. I start sprinting. Like, yeah, I'm young. Yeah, pop, hamstring. Yep, comparison.
Did it.
Watching someone else doing what they do and their capabilities forced me to act outside of my capabilities.
Yeah. And being able to call your friend and say, hey, listen, I just pulled my hamstring.
And to say, I know what it is to get older.
And then he said, that's so messed up. But he wasn't even honest when he called. He's like,
I did.
You know what happened? I'm like, what? He's like, I was comparing myself to the young man. I'm like, you're not young anymore, Mike. You're not young.
No.
Mike said something powerful there when he talked about end result driven. You know, I think part of what makes our partnership great and our families great together, that we all have we look at everything from the end result backwards. You know what I mean? We look at the finish line. We know the goal. We know and a lot of times we meet with a lot of young entrepreneurs and there's no end result in mind, right? A lot of people like to do things in this atmosphere, in this climate, just to do it. Like, I'm doing something. I'm out on Instagram. I'm out on Facebook. And then when you meet with them, it's like, there's fluff. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right? They hollow inside. You know what I mean? I'm like, why are you doing what you're doing? What is the end result? Like, we don't want to, like, even this, when we started talking about doing Collaborate and Elevate, we wanted to do it. We was asked the question a long time ago, let's do it. But we wanted to be at the right time and then for the right reason. And what is the end result, right? We just didn't want to get people together just to get people together and say, oh, we're doing something in Columbia because everybody else is doing something for entrepreneurs. That's what happens, right? Breeds that comparison, and then we have a whole bunch of copycats.
Say that again.
We have a whole bunch of copycats. People doing what other people do, and no one wants to take time to be processed and to hear something different.
Yeah, because that's what Mike's talking about. So you talk about how you get up in the morning and the 4 questions that you ask. And that is process. And honestly, I'm translating that as you're asking for interpretation of the things that are going on in your life. To have a divine way to look at that.
Because sometimes you go into a venture and you don't have language for where you're going.
Or the language of the people that you're with,
That's
right?
exactly right.
Where you're going, the people you're with,
You know,
what you're supposed to do when you have people going like this, or like not caring.
And you don't have an example of it. You never see nobody else do it.
Yeah.
A lot of times everybody's trying to figure out what everybody else is doing. Maybe what you're supposed to do, no one else has ever done it.
I want to add to what he's saying. It's just as important to say who you're not as it is to say who you are.
We don't do a very good job of that.
We got to get free from misidentification. We got to get free from the expectations of people.
Yeah.
We got to get free from being around insecure people. Insecure people are threatened by secure people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope this is helping you guys tonight. This is.
We said it was going to be real talk, Manny. Where are you? We said real talk. That's what we were bringing in. So, you know, I want to get a chance to ask, for some of you to be able to ask some questions. But Mike said something that was beautiful when we were on the phone, and I wrote it down yesterday or the day before. This week has been busy, whenever we talked. You said, I'm not in the business of climbing ladders right now. I'm in the business of building ladders.
Wow.
Yeah, if I had to quantify my life in 3 phases, the first phase of my life was survival. I grew up right on a hilltop, right here in Columbus, Ohio. I had to dodge bullets, I had to dodge drugs, I had to dodge gangs. So I had to survive my element, my environment. The second phase of my life was success. Was able to go to college, was able to get a degree, was able to go to MBA and meet incredible people around the world, travel the world. And now I'm in a phase of my life where I want significance and impact. And so survival, success, significance. And that's how I quantify life. And so now, you're right. I mean, we talked about that the other day. I'm more interested in building ladders than climbing ladders. And that's helping people achieve their goals and achieve their dreams. And so we're having fun doing it.
Danny, how are you building ladders? Because I know you're in the same spot.
Man, it's really being real with people and helping people. I mean, in the end of the day, I know we keep on saying that, but it's true help, right? It's not false expectations about, right? Setting right expectations with people, right? Setting the right process in their life, seeing where they're at that moment, right? Embracing where they're at that moment, right? Everybody's always trying to fix somebody. You know, sometimes there's no fixing. Sometimes you just have to embrace. Embrace them where they're at, right? And then see, all right, how can I serve you? And how can I set an atmosphere of growth, right? Because you can have great seed, the wrong atmosphere. I've seen a lot of people that have, they're great seeds, they're just not in the right proper atmosphere, right? So if I give you an orange seed, I said, Mikaela, these cost me $1,000 a piece, and you say, well, I'm going to go home right now and plant them here. I'm going to you just wasted that seed within Ohio. Wrong atmosphere, right? But if you tell me I'm going to go buy a plot of land in Florida, and I'm going to go sow these seeds, and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to go half in you, because then we're going to make a business oranges in Florida. You know
Florida's best.
Come on, Florida's best. So it's
go.
putting people in the right atmosphere, and hopefully we creating this together, an atmosphere where people feel safe to grow and say, man, I just want to grow. Okay, let's see where you at, and let's see where you're going.
So I have one other question before we take some questions from the audience. Where are you going from here? Like, what plans can you let us in on at this point?
Oh,
well, right after this, I'm going to Forno with my wife and our team. You know, I will preface before I say that the beautiful thing about life, so relationships are the currency of life. Relationships are the currency of life. I told my wife, who's my best friend in the entire world, and I can say that with all confidence, most people can't. The greatest day of my life is when me became we. And I apply that to our relationship and our family, our Wave family. And where we're going, wow, internationally, globally. All right, we use a term here at the Wave called globalization. Globalization, having a global impact from a local place. It would be illegal for us, and I didn't feel right in my heart to begin to start and initiate a project anywhere else in the country other than Columbus, Ohio. And the goal is to kind of cross-pollinate what's happening in the valley and in the beach, Silicon Beach, to here in the Midwest. And so our goals expand globally. We're now in Israel. We have recently gotten to the whole tech ecosystem of Israel, which we're really excited about.
There's a big one there.
Huge. And it's been fun. We're obviously in California, and we're taking our CEOs and some of our young professionals out to California to be mentors, to get access to capital, to get access to networking, which has been incredible. We've been stealth about it because we don't have to beat our chest about it. We're just doing it. And so we are free from over-promising and under-delivering. I'm going to say that again. We are free from over-promising and under-delivering. What we say we're going to do, we're going to do. So,
do the work.
Do the work. Just be. Right? And say just be.
Yeah,
just be who you are. Don't talk about it. You don't have to Instagram it. You don't have to Facebook it. Just do it.
But you need to remember that localization.
Localization. Yeah. I think one of the immediate things that we're going to do, and I'm just going to spill the beans just a little bit, is we're working on our second location in Columbus right now.
Yeah.
And so that will be open earlier next year. And then going to, West Side's big for us, you know what I mean? Because Mike grew up there. And then Milwaukee, those are the things. And then Israel, and then China. So those are the things that are on the horizon.
You know, I know the Milwaukee connection, obviously. So you don't even know this. My sister lives in Milwaukee.
Really?
Yeah, we don't know this. But their situation there with entrepreneurs is different than it is here. So to be able to take this and to take this honor and vision and all of that is going to be really important.
The beautiful thing about us, Mikaela, and I'm going to say this, and I say it with confidence, and our team knows this. We believe in synergy, not succession. And what I mean by that is, it's not the Danny and Mike show. We're raising up a generation behind us to take over what we've started. So that the trailblaze call upon our lives to start things, have the next person, while we're hot, take over in the midst of our hotness, and let them run it. And I think that is a critical component to business, to life.
Come on, man.
It's not about succession. When I'm old, I'm getting older. When I'm older and getting decrepit with my wheelchair and my cane and 90 years, and now it's your turn. No. We need to have more collaboration in that mode of synergy.
Yeah.
See, the key is, I know for us, I'm the least smartest person within our group. Honestly. This man has helped me so much. No,
I don't agree with that, but that's okay.
No. We know the engine. We know the engines.
Yeah.
My wife is the engine to our marriage.
Yeah.
But surrounding yourself with brilliant people.
She's typing it. She's typing it. She got to record it.
She's the
Put
smartest.
that up on the ground.
She's the engine.
Kia Red is the smartest and purest person I know in my life, and she's the engine to our marriage. That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's funny.
So well, for me, and Danny knows this, Tia and Ezra and Deb knows this, like I always wanted to be in the background. So establish it and move out the way and let people who are gifted and talented and give them, see, let me say this too, I'm on my tangent.
Say it.
Most people dealt with rejection in life
Yeah.
because they haven't been platformed appropriately.
Yeah.
So that's what we're encountering here in this culture too, is that people just haven't had a chance. Gifted, smart, talented, but because whatever reason, they just haven't been platformed. So we're not beating our chest to be on the cover of magazines and newspapers and to give hyperbole. We actually want to work underneath and actually do some real work with people.
Be the foundation.
So
right?
that's where we're going.
I'll end with this. I say this: true leadership, and we do say this all the time in our group, is not creating followers, but empowering people to lead other people, right? And so we just want to be the floor where people stand on. You know what I mean? And if we can do it from that point of view, we don't have to be seen.
Can I add to that real quick? I'm sorry.
Yes.
True
This
leadership.
is your stage.
As another nugget, true leadership is like the wind.
Yeah.
You can't see the wind, but you can feel it.
Wow.
All right. So, deep stuff, good stuff. Thank you guys.